was unfortunately unsuccessful at getting through to Redi Tlhabi on 567 Cape Talk or Radio 702 this morning. During her discussion with Dr. Richard Matzopoulos and Martin Hood regarding Matzopoulos' study pertaining to gun violence in South Africa and the impact that the Firearm Controls Act allegedly had. There are 3 points on which I would like to challenge some of the doctor's assertions. The first assertion he made is that South Africa suffers the highest rate of firearms apparently stolen from legally licensed citizens in the world. He doesn't provide any reference, of course, to back up the statement or this claim, nor does he provide any further clarifying commentary. What I can, from my side, add is that if you had to peruse the South African Police Service's annual performance review, it is a document that covers a 3-year period pertaining to certain targets set by the South African Police Service for its members and how those targets were reached or missed. If we look at the firearms reported stolen over a 3-year period, the average in that performance review has been well over 90% of all firearms reported stolen that calendar year have been recovered. In fact, in the 2012-2013 period, over 115% were recovered. That means more firearms were recovered by the South African Police Service than were reported stolen in the first place. That means that gun owners who have guns stolen from them are at best a very short-term and very limited source of firearms for criminals. That makes sense, especially if you consider that AK-47s and R5 assault rifles, which are fully automatic military-grade weapons, are not owned by legally licensed gun owners in this country in the first place. Those weapons are sourced from struggle-era arms caches and are supplied by corruption in the state, be it the military or the police. This links in nicely with my second point, which is in this past Sunday's report, there was an article on the front page pertaining to the 3 largest weapons depots of the South African National Defence Force being left effectively unguarded thanks to budget cuts amongst other, inexcusable bureaucratic governmental oversights. And a former soldier made a comment that criminals and terrorists can basically just drive into the depot and help themselves to arms, ammunition, and explosives. So the state has now put us in a position where we as citizens no longer just need to protect ourselves against violent criminals. We must now protect ourselves against violent criminals armed with weapons belonging to the state through the negligence and corruption of the state, while we are being taxed by the state to endure this pleasure, which is absolute nonsense. Especially if you consider we're constantly being targeted on talk shows and in the media by talking heads and by the government for being apparently this massively problematic source of weapons to criminals in the first place. My third and last points pertain to the actual methodology of Matzopoulos' study itself. In his study, he frequently references Adele Kirsten, who is a fellow Gun Free South Africa board member of his, and her book as source material. In this book of Adele Kirsten, she in turn references him. So we have this wonderful circular reference system in this Gun Free South Africa echo chamber. How ethical is that? How scientifically correct is that? Because you're essentially referencing yourself. Are you not? This should cast serious doubt over the validity and the methodology of Matzopoulos' study. The man has effectively committed what is tantamount to academic fraud. And I would like to see this point challenged specifically. And unfortunately, I didn't get the chance to bring this up on Talk Radio, but hopefully if you spread this message around, someone there will get it.